what if I told you that saving money for retirement might be the biggest mistake you'll ever make? And what if the goal isn't to die rich, but to die with zero? Hey everyone, so today we're diving into Die with Zero by Bill Perkins, and this book is going to mess with everything you think you know about money. Perkins isn't some broke guy telling you to spend recklessly. He's a hedge fund manager who made millions on Wall Street. And his message is simple but radical. You're not optimizing your life if you're just hoarding money. This isn't about being irresponsible with money. It's about being smart with your life. Because here's the thing, you can't take it with you, and there's an optimal time to spend every dollar you earn. And so if you've ever wondered whether you're saving too much, spending too little, or missing out on life while building wealth, this one's for you. Chapter 1. The Net Worth Trap. Why Dying Rich is Failing. Alright, let's start with something that's going to sound crazy to most people. Perkins says that if you die with money in the bank, you've failed at life. I know. We've been taught that leaving money to our kids is noble, that having a big nest egg is the goal. But think about this. Every dollar you have when you die is a dollar you could have spent on experiences, on helping people, on actually living your life. It's potential energy that never got converted into actual life experiences. Perkins tells this story about his friend who saved diligently his whole life. The guy had over $2 million when he died at 68. But you know what he never did? He never took that trip to Italy he always talked about. He never bought the boat he wanted. He never helped his kids buy their first homes when they actually needed it. The money sat there, growing, while life passed him by. And now, the money goes to his kids, who are already in their 40s and financially established. It would have made a much bigger difference in their lives 20 years ago. This is what Perkins calls the net worth trap. We optimize for the number in our bank account instead of optimizing for the life we're actually living. The goal isn't to accumulate wealth. The goal is to convert wealth into life experiences at the right time. Chapter 2. Your Life Energy, the Real Currency. Now here's where Perkins gets really deep. He says, we're thinking about money all wrong. Money isn't the goal. It's just stored life energy. Think about it. You trade hours of your life for money. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for decades. That money represents your time, your energy, your life force. So the question becomes, are you getting the maximum life satisfaction from that stored energy? Or are you just letting it sit there, unused? Perkins introduces this concept called life energy optimization. Instead of asking, how can I save more money, you ask, how can I get the most life satisfaction from the money I earn? Here's an example that hit me hard. Let's say you're 30 years old and you want to take a $5,000 0 cents vacation. You could take it now, or you could invest that $5,000 0 cents and take the vacation when you're 60. If you invest it at 7% return, you'll have about $30,000 0 cents in 30 years. So you could take a much fancier vacation when you're 60. But here's the question, will that vacation be 6 times better when you're 60? Will your knees handle the hiking? Will you have the same energy to explore? Perkins argues that experiences have diminishing returns as you age. The $5,000 0 cents vacation at 30 might give you more life satisfaction than the $30,000 0 cents vacation at 60. This isn't about being reckless. It's about being strategic with when you convert your stored life energy back into actual life experiences. Chapter 3. The Declining Utility of Money. Why Timing Matters. All right, let's talk about something Perkins calls the declining utility of money. This is a fancy way of saying that the same dollar is worth different amounts to you at different times in your life. $1,000 to a 20-year-old college student, that's life-changing. $1,000 to a 60-year-old with $1 million in the bank, barely noticeable. But it goes deeper than that. It's not just about how much money you have. It's about your ability to use money to create experiences. When you're young, you have time and energy but no money. When you're middle-aged, you have money and energy but no time. When you're old, you have money and time but no energy. Perkins shows this graph that'll change how you think about spending. Your ability to enjoy active experiences peaks in your 20s and 30s, then slowly declines. Meanwhile, your wealth typically peaks in your 60s and 70s. See the problem? Maximum wealth and maximum ability to enjoy that wealth happen at completely different times in your life. This is why Perkins argues for consumption smoothing, spreading your spending more evenly across your lifetime instead of backloading everything into retirement. The goal isn't to be broke when you're young or rich when you're old. The goal is to have the right amount of money at each stage of life to maximize your experiences during that stage. Chapter 4. Memory Dividends, the investment that keeps paying. Now here's where Perkins introduces something beautiful, the concept of memory dividends. When you buy a stock, you get dividends. When you create an experience, you get memory dividends. And unlike financial dividends, memory dividends can last your entire lifetime. Think about your best memories, that trip with friends in college, your wedding day, the time you taught your kid to ride a bike. These memories don't just happen once. They pay dividends every time you think about them. Perkins argues that experiences are often better investments than financial assets because they generate returns in the form of happiness for decades. He tells this story about taking his kids on an African safari when they were teenagers. It cost $50,000, 0 cents money he could have invested. But 15 years later, his kids still talk about that trip. It bonded them as a family. It changed how they see the world. Could he have made more than $50,000, 0 cents by investing that money? Probably. But could he have bought anything with that money that would have given him more life satisfaction? Probably not. This is the magic of memory dividends. They compound too, but they compound in happiness, not dollars. And here's the kicker. Memory dividends are inflation-proof. The joy you get from remembering a great experience doesn't decrease over time. If anything, it often increases. Chapter 5. The Ant and the Grasshopper Revisited. Balance is key. Now, before you think Perkins is telling you to blow all your money on experiences, let me clarify. He's not saying be the grasshopper who spends everything and saves nothing. But he's also saying, don't be the ant who saves everything and experiences nothing. The goal is balance. Perkins introduces what he calls the fulfillment curve. At the beginning, spending money on experiences gives you huge returns in happiness, but there's a point where additional spending gives you diminishing returns. The key is finding your personal sweet spot. How much do you need to save to feel secure? How much can you spend on experiences without jeopardizing your future? He suggests this exercise. Imagine you're 80 years old, looking back at your life. What would you regret more? Having a little less money in the bank or missing out on experiences with people you love? For most people, the answer is clear. We regret the things we didn't do more than the money we didn't save. But here's the sophisticated part of Perkins' argument. He's not against saving. He's against saving without purpose. Every dollar you save should have a specific plan for when and how it will be spent. If you're saving for retirement, great, but have you actually calculated how much you need? Most people are saving way more than they'll ever spend because they've never done the math. Chapter 6. Giving while living, the gift of timing. Now here's where Perkins gets really interesting. He talks about giving while living, the idea that if you're going to be generous, do it while you can see the impact. Most people plan to leave money to their kids or donate to charity when they die, but Perkins asks a simple question: why wait? If you're going to give your kids money anyway, why not give it to them when it can make the biggest difference in their lives? When they're buying their first home, starting a business, or paying for their kids' education. A $50,000 0-cent gift to your 30-year-old child can change their life trajectory. The same $50,000 0-cents given to your 50-year-old child is nice, but it's not life-changing. And when it comes to charity, giving while you're alive lets you see the impact of your donations. You can course correct if the money isn't being used effectively. You can experience the joy of giving. Perkins practiced this himself. Instead of leaving money to charity in his will, he started giving significant amounts while he was alive. He got to see schools built, scholarships awarded, lives changed. The money had the same impact, probably more, but he got to experience the satisfaction of giving. That's value you can't get if you wait until you're dead. Chapter 7. The Practical Math. How much is enough? Alright, so how do you actually apply this? Perkins gives us some practical frameworks. First, calculate your enough number. How much money do you actually need to maintain your desired lifestyle in retirement? Don't guess, do the math. Most people discover they need way less than they thought. If you can live on $60,000, 0 cents a year now, you'll probably need less in retirement, not more. No more commuting costs, no more work clothes, no more saving for retirement. Second, work backwards from your death date. Morbid, but necessary. If you expect to live to 85 and you're 35 now, you have 50 years to spend your money. Third, front-load your experiences. The things you want to do that require health and energy, do them sooner rather than later. The things that don't require much physical ability can wait. Fourth, automate your giving. If you plan to be generous, set up systems to give while you're alive. Don't wait for the perfect time. And finally, regularly reassess. Your enough number might change, your health might change, your priorities will definitely change. The plan should evolve with you. Your life, your choice. So what's the real message of Die with Zero? It's not about being reckless with money. It's about being intentional with your life. Perkins is asking us to think about money as a tool, not a goal. The goal is to live the fullest life possible. Money is just one way to enable that life. Most of us are optimizing for the wrong thing. We're optimizing for net worth instead of life satisfaction. We're optimizing for security instead of experiences. We're optimizing for someday instead of today. The math is simple. You have a finite amount of time and a finite amount of money. The question is, how do you combine them to create the maximum amount of life satisfaction? There's no right answer that works for everyone, but there's probably a right answer for you, and it probably involves spending more money on experiences and less time hoarding it. So here's my challenge for you. What's one experience you've been putting off because you're worried about the cost? What's one gift you could give now instead of waiting? What's one way you could convert some of your stored life energy back into actual life? If this video changed how you think about money and life, hit that like button and subscribe for more perspectives that matter. And let me know in the comments, what's one thing you're going to stop saving for and start experiencing? Remember, you can take it with you, but you can take the memories. Thanks for watching. If you want to explore more unconventional wisdom about money and life, check out my breakdown of your money or your life right here, or watch this video about work-life balance. The goal isn't just to make money, it's to make a life worth living. See you in the next one.